And it is a big one for you guys today, as you can see on the thumbnail, as you can see in the title of this video. Things with Eberechi Eze are heating up, and I'm very excited about it after a signing that we got through the door yesterday. We got the here we go from Fabrizio Romano for the starlet, the Japanese starlet, and we've got a few bits and pieces to talk about today. If you are new around here, smash that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's go and hear from the big Caddy Comps, who are our sponsor for the Tottenham update today. Caddy Comps is the UK's biggest golf website. Every night you can win and you can get the latest golf equipment for as little as 79 pence, people. They have over 100 competitions per week and already given away over £8 million worth of prizes. So for all you avid golf lovers, get involved in Caddy Comps, people.
Yeah, come on. It's a very cheap price for unbelievable equipment for as little as 79p. Where else are you going to get that kind of unbelievable price for that kind of equipment?
When the weather like it is in England right now, no better time to get on that golf course, and no better place to get your equipment from than Caddy Comps. Link is in the description below if you want to get involved.
Yeah, and it's basically a raffle kind of website where you enter for a little fee and you put yourself in the hat to win one of these unbelievable golf sets for a really, really small price. So if you're there and you're looking to play golf this summer, it's probably worth doing.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into the Tottenham update then. We're going to start off with a report from Sam Tabiteo, Brentford, obviously ITK. Now he's working at the Standard, and he says that Brentford captain Christian Norgaard is wanted by both Arsenal and Tottenham as they both look for midfield reinforcements this summer. We know a very experienced player, knows Frank very well, obviously was his captain at Brentford. He also played for Frank at the Danish youth level as well, so he's known him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, going all the way back to then. Arsenal, obviously in the market for a midfielder with Jorginho going out the door, Thomas Partey going out the door. Would surprise me if they went for Norgaard, to be fair.
Well, if they're looking for two, maybe they go for like a...
They went for Jorginho, who was a fairly older player as well.
Yeah, so I guess if they're obviously getting Zubimendi and you get like Norgaard as like third choice with Rice there as well, I guess you could maybe kind of make sense of it, but I doubt they'll probably go for him. I actually think Norgaard's a good player. I think he's done really well for Brentford. He's a massive part of how they try to play. Really, what's it called, disciplined. He's very good at organising the team. He's actually not bad on the ball as well. He's not like elite, but he's like pretty decent. Makes a lot of tackles, a lot of interceptions. He's the muscle in that midfield, I think, Christian Norgaard for Brentford. At 31, he definitely has experience, but I don't know if it's... I mean, he's got experience playing at different levels, but it's not experience playing at, Champions League or the highest level. Not to say he couldn't play at that level potentially, and maybe with better players around him, it might elevate his game. But we need to bring someone in who's going to elevate other players. I don't know if Norgaard's that kind of player. I like him.
He's got a fair few caps for Denmark, hasn't he?
He does, and he actually
30 caps.
Yeah, he does all right in the international tournaments as well. I've seen him. He doesn't look out of place. Put him that way, but we need a level raiser. If we're going to lose Basuma and maybe even Bentancur, I mean, why would we replace him with Norgaard? It doesn't make too much sense. Yeah. We might as well try and convince them to stay. I guess, look, if they're intent on leaving and we're looking to replace them, I mean, replace him with Norgaard.
Would you see it, liken it to the signings of, when we brought in Ivan Perisic for Conte, we brought in Scott Parker as like a 30-year-old, didn't we? From West Ham. So it could be like signings of those ilk, and both those signings were fairly decent.
They were good signings, but I would say they're different. I think Perisic was just playing for Inter Milan, and I think they just won the league, and he was playing for the I think he was brilliant at wing back for Inter Milan under Conte.
Yeah,
and they won the league. He was one of the best wing backs in Europe at the time. Sorry, I know it didn't go well for him at Tottenham, it didn't go as well as it could have, but he definitely was coming to raise the level. Same with Parker. I think he just got Player of the Year in the Premier League when we signed him. This isn't a guy...
What, Premier League Player of the Year?
He did, yeah, in 2011. Though West Ham got relegated and he got Player of the Year. So he was obviously a phenomenal signing for us, and he was obviously England international. He was a really good player at the time. I'm not saying Norgaard's not, but I think it's a different kind of level. Like,
but the thing is,
Norgaard
right,
is good, but maybe it's because he's trusted by Frank. Maybe that obviously means Frank maybe backs him to up his game at Tottenham and raise level. But look, for me, I wouldn't mind him as like
squad option.
Yeah, squad option. If we're maybe selling both Basuma and Bentancur, but if only one of them are leaving, I don't know if Norgaard's the answer.
I do agree with you, very much so. But the one that knows him the best is going to be Thomas Frank, isn't it? And if he wants him desperately at Tottenham, then I'll back that decision, because he's the one that has seen him week in, week out in training for years, and he'll know exactly what level he can get to, and he'll know exactly what he's about and exactly what he needs from him. So
yeah, I hear that. That's fair, but he's coming to Tottenham. The main reason he's making this step is because he's got more money at his disposal, and he doesn't have to use a lot of the limited players he had at Brentford. I don't know if Norgaard falls into that category, but I don't know if as well I don't know if you can say he's like the Mbeumo types where he's ready for the step up. I think Norgaard, maybe he could go to a better club. I don't know if he's a player who's really right for the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll wait and see how this one progresses. But if this report is true, and he's a reliable journalist, isn't he? And he's saying Arsenal and Tottenham are both looking at him.
Yeah. Maybe there is some truth to it. He's definitely. Look, I haven't heard of this journalist up until recently when he was been talking about the Frank deal to Tottenham, and now he's clearly doing very well and he's got a job at the Standard. So maybe he's got good sources going in the game, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about Kyle Walker-Peters caught offside, saying that Fulham, West Ham and Palace are all closely monitoring Kyle Walker-Peters ahead of a potential move. However, the most serious effort to sign him is expected to come from Tottenham. The player's desire to stay in the Premier League and his loyalty to the club are among the factors that paved the way for this transfer. Also, signing him would boost Tottenham's homegrown quota as well. Signing a player of his quality and experience on a free transfer represents a huge bargain.
I mean, it's free. I don't know about a huge bargain.
But if it's free, it is a bargain, I guess.
I guess, unless he has a negative effect on the team, which you can't rule out at this point. I think for Tottenham, obviously, we probably would, in a weird way, we probably need him more than the other teams, even though we want him as 4th choice. But because of our situation, like, does he go into West Ham and Fulham as starters? Although, interestingly enough, at Fulham, they've just sold Tete, so there is a spot open on that right back. I don't know if Kyle Walker-Peters would fill it, or they'd go for a different player. But
I'm surprised they sold Tete as well.
Yeah, I like Tete. I think he's a good player. So for me, yeah, with Walker-Peters, a former Tottenham player. He's got his best mate Solanke in the front line. He'll know the place well. I think it's a deal that makes sense for Tottenham. Now, does it make sense for Kyle? That's a different question. He might look at the situation and think, yes, I'm going to be 4th choice, but there will be game time for me and I will get a platform to play at a really high level and maybe even push myself into the first team if I really smash it and prove how good I believe I can be. Maybe that's a place. But then on the other side, he might feel if I might not be getting the game time and I might not be able to have that ability to show what I can do. And if that's going to be the case, I'll rather go somewhere where I'm more certain to play. So if he wants certainty of game time, I don't think Tottenham's a place. But maybe, given that he's 28, he's been at Southampton where he's played a hell of a lot over the last few years, but he's been relegated up and down, and maybe he doesn't feel the need to have to be starting week in, week out in the Premier League. Maybe he'd be open 28, to it. You
should be starting week in, week out. Like for what you want out of your career, surely 28 is the age to carry on that and to go to a team where you can cement your kind of, he's going to have some sort of legacy in the game. So when he wants to look back on it at 28 years of age, he doesn't want to say like he's winding down already.
It's not about winding down, but but does he have to, like, will trying to get game time at Spurs mean more to him than having game time at Fulham, where maybe he's not even guaranteed there anyway? You know what I mean? So maybe that would mean more to him.
Yeah, it depends. Like you say, Tete's leaving, so there is a spot opened up for him there. So they do have Castagna as well, don't they, Fulham? Mm-hmm. So he'll be fighting with him. And yeah, it's probably a much easier bout to fight with Castagna than it is with Pedro Porro.
Yeah, but we're also in 4 competitions.
That's also true. So look, it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out, as well as the Dennis Sirkin deal. Which way are Spurs going to go with it? I think Spurs are probably going to leave more to the Kyle Walker-Peters I think it just makes more sense in terms of in 2-3 years' time, when the club train numbers are looking a lot better, then Kyle Walker-Peters' probably contract will be up with Spurs, or you can just sell him for a modest fee to someone else and move him on. So, yeah, he just fills a void in the squad that we need very much so in the next couple of years. And I think that's about that, really.
You didn't know my nickname was the Beaver, did you? There's nothing worse than playing with a driver you've just won and you keep the sticker on. Take the stickers off. Win all the latest golf equipment here at Caddy Comps every night for as little as 79p. That was levered, that was.
Now, let's get on to the big story of the day. We touched on it a bit last night, and it's about the main man, which is Eberechi Eze. David Heitner says that Tottenham are weighing up a move for Eberechi Eze and believe he would be open to joining them. They have discussed whether to make a statement signing for the new manager, Thomas Frank. John Cross says that they believe they can finally land Eberechi Eze this summer, as they believe he is also keen on the move. San Tabateu says Tottenham are turning their attentions to Eberechi Eze. Tottenham have lined up a £68 million move as a statement signing to kickstart the Thomas Frank era. 68 million would trigger his release clause. And Florian Plettenberg says that Tottenham Hotspur are closely monitoring Eberechi Eze now and have already gathered all the relevant information. However, he is just one of several players that they are considering for his position. At this stage, they have not activated his release clause, and they are also not close to doing so. Still, Eze does remain one to watch for Spurs. So, I mean, not much in that, to be honest.
Kind of sounds like we're stalking him,
yeah.
monitoring, looking at.
I know. There's like not much in it in terms of progressing the deal along, but there are a lot of journalists talking about this now. For me, there's no smoke without fire. I think it's clear to see that we've been interested in Eze for some time, and I feel like with the news that Paul O'Keefe gave us a couple of days, 3-4 days ago, in terms of Palace willing to take that installments now instead of 60 million up front, I actually think this one has a lot of legs, and I think this could get done.
Yeah, I think so. For me, when you see a lot of journalists say the very similar things all at the same time, for me, that tells me that either they've been briefed by a source or someone is briefing some sort of information. They're getting similar information from one place, which tells me something behind the scenes is going on, something behind the scenes is brewing. I know all the reports are saying, oh, it's just monitoring and interest and all this kind of stuff, but when it's when everyone's coming up with the same name, that tells me there's work happening behind the scenes to get this deal done and movement happening. I'm not saying this is done or we've agreed a deal, but clearly, when all the people are saying the same thing, for me that means something's happening. There's a lot. I agree with you. There's no smoke without fire, and I definitely think that is something to be looked at. And I love Eze. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I think he's a phenomenal talent, one of the stars of the Premier League, and he's going to fit in like a glove. The only question mark, we've been having these debates on the WhatsApp about, is he a player we really need? For me, he's just a player that ups the quality of the squad. I'm never going to complain about that. And these are the kind of signings we need to be making to start to closing the gap on the top teams. But I also understand that some people feel like, is a right winger more a necessity than a left winger? Because right now we have Johnson who can play on the right. Odebear plays there, but he's more accustomed to the left. Whereas on the left, we've just signed Tell. Son is still here. So again, it depends kind of how Frank sees the squad. If he sees Decky more on the right, then you've got Johnson there, and then you've got players like Odebear who can play there. And then if Son's leaving, all of a sudden you're thinking, actually, we probably do need to prioritise a left winger because we only already got Tell, and then Odebear can fill in there as well. So maybe
Odebear
a left
is a
winger.
natural left winger.
He's a natural, but for under 21s, he plays on the right. And for Burnley, he played both sides. But he's definitely looked better on the left when he's played for Tottenham. But again, most of his time at Tottenham has been on the right as well. So I don't know about natural left winger, but I think that's probably his best position, if you know what I mean. Two different things. But
I mean, when we signed him, his position on pretty much every website, every scouting report said he's a left winger.
Yeah. Well, he's played a number of positions. He's
played a number of positions.
Burnley fans think his best position is in the 10.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
That's fair enough. But in terms of what he would probably consider himself as, and what everyone says he is, everyone says left winger.
Yeah, but everyone seems to play on the right.
Yeah.
You know, at international level and at club level, his majority of performances have been on the right. We'll see what Frank thinks. We know Frank likes inverted wingers. That's what has been shown at Brentford. When Wish has played on the wing, it's been on the left. Sade plays on the left, and Mbeumo pretty much exclusively plays on the right-hand side. So he does like, we know that he definitely does like inverted wingers from his history. So that would suggest, you know, he would like to play Odegaard on the left. But then what does that mean for Johnson? Would he want Johnson on the left as well? But Johnson's definitely predominantly been on the right.
He can't play everyone on the left.
He's played a few games on the left for us, but he's looked better on the right. Again, depends on what Frank wants. It all depends on how, you know, in terms of his squad building. If he sees Decky as more of a right winger and he's got Johnson there, maybe he feels like he needs Eze to come in, or he needs a left winger if Son's going to leave. So it's a balancing act, because then if Decky is more on the right, and then you would want an Eze because he plays on the left and also can cover Maddison in the 10, and he's probably going to start a lot of games there as well. So you kind of do want Eze on that sense, but also understand, like, we don't really have a guy on the right wing where you can say he's like a unbelievable option there, or like a real upgrade. And whereas on the left, and you know, if Son stays, he is that kind of option. But
if Son doesn't stay,
on the left
either.
But then you could say Odegaard and Tell, but
they're not those options, though, are they? Mm-hmm. They're like young players still coming through. Where at least if Son goes right, you'd probably say the right hand side is stronger than the left hand side.
I guess the worry is, which is my prediction, that we only are going to spend big on one forward player, or one player really, unless Romero also leaves. I don't know if we're going to, like Eze, we're talking about 68 million. Is that going to be the only signing of that price this summer? Probably. Is it wise to use it on a left winger? I would say yes. I can see the logic in it. Some people would say no, use it on a right winger.
But I would say, if Son is going this summer, you're looking at the options that we have potentially on the right. I'm going to add Kulusevski into that. And you're looking at the options that we have on the left. The options on the right are stronger.
With Kulusevski's on the right, yeah.
So that means then it's right to do what we're doing. And as well, he can play in the middle.
Well, but if he doesn't say Kulusevski's on the right and Son does stay, then it's the opposite. That surely can't be the case. Like, if we're going so hard on the left and not considering to bring in anyone on the right, surely we don't go into the season with Brennan and Odegaard. We have been considering players on the right.
Yeah, it's true. We've been considering Mbeumo, but I mean, the one that we're actually going to go for is going to be on the left.
I guess someone's saying my mic's out. I guess the fear is, are we only going for Eze because we haven't been able to get our first choice options like in Mbeumo, Semenyo and Kudus? And if that's the case, is that the right approach, or is Eze always been high up on our list?
I think it's evident that Eze has always been high up on our list, and the reason why we were trying to get Mbeumo is because we thought there was an opportunity there with Frank coming to the club. Kudus, was it ever that serious? Are you ever going to get him out of a club like West Ham and pay the 85 million that they're going to hold us to? Probably not. And Semenyo, the price is just going to keep going up and up and up the more Bournemouth sell players. So I don't really think that's a viable option either. So you're looking at those options that we were looking at on the right-hand side, and I just don't think any of them have been that realistic, to be honest. So that leaves you with either... Look, what I personally want to see, I want to see us... If Son is to go I want to see us get an Eze. But I also want to see us bring in someone on the right-hand side and maybe... I know it's probably unrealistic, but probably loan out a Wilson Odegaard. Like, if we could do that, get Odegaard serious playing time at another club, Premier League club, ideally, bring in a Bakayoko and have Eze on the left-hand side and the middle, I think that would do the world of good for us.
If we're saying that, let's say, for example, we're saying Son and Richarlison are leaving, and we're saying we want Eze to replace Son.
Yeah.
Do we want to replace Richarlison? Would we want a striker to replace Richarlison, like a Callum Wendo or a Muniz? Or would we say, you know what, Tell and Johnson maybe can cover that backup striker role, and we go big on another right winger.
I think someone that's probably predominantly a right winger, but can also fill in the striking role as well. Maybe a versatile player. I'm not sure who that player is, top of my head, but probably a versatile option.
Well, can Johnson not be that versatile option, and then you just go for a
Yeah, he
pure
could
right
be.
winger?
He could be if that's what Frank sees him as. I don't know if Frank sees him as that or not. I mean, the way we've been talking is that he does, but we don't know actually what's going on in Frank's mind. Frank obviously tried to sign him at Brentford and had his own plans for him. We're going to have to see how that works out. But in my mind, it is going to be the right winger options of Brennan and Kulusevski. I think when you're looking at options that can play through the middle, I think he might favour Tell more in the central options than a Brennan Johnson. And Tell hasn't looked great for me in the number 9 so far, so I would like to see someone a bit more comfortable there.
Yeah, I think I would go for someone who's just... I think I'd probably go for someone who's a winger, pure winger, and then you got Tell and Johnson who could potentially fill in those roles next to a Solanke. And even Decky could do that as well. Decky could also fill in that role, potentially. Maybe under Frank, he can get more out of those players playing in those roles than Ange did, because he's not constantly maybe will play to their strengths more than Ange asking Tell to do things he's not comfortable with, or Decky or whoever. I think I would rather that than go big on just another striker where he's kind of has to wait for Solanke to drop out to get game time.
Unless you go 2 up top.
Or you could go 2 up top with a 3-5-2, and then you would need another striker, yeah.
All right. That is the Eze deal. I mean, regardless of all this kind of debate, whether we need a right wing, a left wing, or whatever, just bringing Eze to the club would give the place such a boost, such a lift, such excitement as well. So
yeah, whatever you want about, I agree, and I don't like. You can't complain about that kind of deal. You just can't. It's just,
well, some people can.
I know some people can, but it's just a great player to bring into the club. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's got another level to go. I think if he comes to Tottenham, he could really explode. I mean, he's already done that at Palace, but he didn't have it. It was a weird season for him. Last season, he wasn't great up until late on, and then he kind of had an amazing end to the season. But I think we've seen throughout the last 2-3 years how amazing he is, and I think we'd be very lucky to have him.
Yeah, totally agree. So bring Eberechi Eze in, and I do have a feeling that this one will get done. I do have a feeling. But anyway, next up, we're going to talk about an Argentinian wonder kid that Spurs are chasing called Ian Subare. I think that's how you pronounce it. River Noccia says that Tottenham are understood to be considering a move for Argentina wonder kid Ian Subare, an 18-year-old winger who has played 290 minutes, scored 1 goal in 12 appearances, and has a 23 million release clause. Chelsea have already withdrawn their interest due to the demands being made, and I can't really see Chelsea kind of balking at a figure that they want, and then Spurs going, you know what, we'll have some of that.
Yeah, look, I don't know anything about this guy. He's an 18-year-old from South America. He might be the next best thing. I've got no clue.
I heard he's the next Alejo Veliz.
Yeah, then don't go near him. That's the truth. But look, I would have said, do we need another young winger? But I would have said, do we need another young centre-back? And here we are signing Takai. So what do I know? I'm sure if this guy we believe is an ex-world star, we'll probably go for it. But whether there should be a priority or whether it's someone who's going to come straight to the first team, it's hard to believe that.
They should rename us the Tottenham Hot Creche.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's all we're doing right now, just building a creche.
So much for experience that we were going to add this summer.
If you ever mention experience, you get sacked. That's what happens at this football club. But yeah.
So far, we're talking about signing a 20-year-old Tell. We signed a 20-year-old from J-League, Takai, and maybe Carl Walker-Peters.
Yeah, unbelievable.
One unbelievable experience.
But Eberechi Eze, he's got good experience.
He does, yeah, Eze does.
Yeah, we got one more news story to bring you today. Just before we get into that, just another mention and a big up to our sponsors, Caddy Comps, the UK's biggest golf competition website. Every night you can win all the latest equipment from as little as 79 pence. Look at all these competitions they got going on daily. You can get your clubs, your drivers, your putters, anything you want regarding golfing materials and equipment. So unbelievable weather in London right now. So this is the only place that you want to go and get your golfing equipment for very, very cheap as well.
But you got to be in it to win it. And to be in it, it only costs as little as 79p to be in it to win the latest in what golf has to offer in terms of the equipment. Incredible equipment for such a low potential prize. Obviously, there's no guarantee to win it. It's a raffle, but you enter the raffle for a small price and you can get unbelievable prizes worth lots and lots of money.
Exactly. So link in the description below if you do want to get involved. This is just perfect for all you avid golf lovers as well. So big up to Caddy Comps. And the last story of the day, we're going to be talking about Damola Ajayi. Cast your mind back to Elfsborg at home in the Europa League. He came on and he absolutely sent the place a potty at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What an unbelievable day that was. Mikey Moore getting his first goal for the club. Ajayi, Scarlett. It really was unbelievable. And the Footy Insider first broke the news saying that Tottenham starlet Ajayi is set to join, or is in advanced talks to join, Doncaster, League One side Doncaster Rovers on loan. And Ali Gold did confirm that as well, saying good season-long loan move coming in the next 24 hours for Damola Ajayi. After his magic moment for Spurs, and it was one of the moments of the season that
especially the time when we were just losing game after game, and it was sweet relief. Even in that game, it was 0-0, wasn't it? And we were looking like, oh god, are we going to finish outside the top 8? It's going to be so embarrassing. And then Scarlett, Ajayi, and Mikey Moore stepped up, and that was an amazing evening. The 3 academy players, that 1-1, they'll live long in the memory. But yeah, I think it's a great loan deal. Let's really intrigued to see how he gets on. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see him after that moment, which was a shame because having scored that goal, his confidence was probably really high. It would have been nice to see a few cameo appearances after that, but didn't happen. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how he does on loan in League One next season for Doncaster, who finished top of the league in League Two. So let's hope he gets a lot of game time and goes better than some of the other loan spells. But, you know, we had some very good loan spells as well last season. So I'm very intrigued to see how Ajayi gets on. Yeah,
exactly. All these academy players going out on loan this season, I suspect that maybe Tyrese Hall might get a loan move as well. But a hard act to follow with all the Hotspur Way graduates going out on loan last year. They all absolutely smashed it. So let's see what the new crop have to offer out on loan next season. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below all the thoughts surrounding all the news stories we've brought to you today. And everyone smash that subscribe button as well